Hello. Press, media, journalism. What is it? It is a service. Most recently, we find that it is turning out to be kind of a business. And what is a journalist? A journalist does not have any extra special privileges. He is just like any other citizen. Hi, my name is Karthik Prakash, and I am the president of All India Press Media Association, Karnataka. Now, coming to the misconception about journalism, let us talk about that first. There is a misconception about journalism that it is a responsibility of making sure that there is a news or an incident which is reported as it is and shown as it is. No, that is not the responsibility of a journalist. The responsibility of a journalist is to make sure that they bring the change in the cause of reporting that news. They make sure that they're able to pass and feel the pain, and they're able to make sure that it is reaching the people, the pain is reaching the people, to make sure that it does not repeat again. They bring the change in it. So that is the basic understanding of it. So the next time you're watching the news and you see that there is a feel, and they're able to get the purpose of, you will be able to understand that the purpose of reporting that news is to bring the change. And if you're seeing that, and then it is a true news. Else, if you see any other extra exaggerations in it, it is just a public stunt. Now let me talk about our association, which is All India Press Media Association. And it is a non-profit organization which is headed by our leader, our president, Dr. A. Velumurugan. He is looking after this and nurturing it from past 3 decades. The main purpose of the association is to make sure that we bring the rightful rights to the journalists and also be a catalysts for this change. We have done numerous protests for this to make sure that we are fighting for the right cause. Now, what are the prerequisites to be part of this association? You need to be a reporter in any of the news agencies. Could be daily, could be weekly, could be fortnightly, could be monthly, or could be annually, or even your visual media. Now, the recent addition is internet media as well. Okay, so most of the people who are YouTubers, it is the recent change that has happened, is they want to make sure that they are able to pass this news. There are so many YouTube channels, which is coming up as news. So if you have to have a legal way of recognition, or you need to have an authority to do this, so you need to be part of these associations and get your ID cards from these reputed organizations, so that you'll be able to pass the news on, or you'll be a reporter. And the next prerequisite for being a journalist is you should be literate. You should know to read and write. It is not that so important in this internet world right now, when you're able to publish the videos, or you're able to speak and pass it on. But even before you do that, right, when you are able to see something, you should be able to write it, and you should be able to design it in such a way that you're able to express it further on. So to be a literate is a basic need. And the third most important is, obviously, you need to be young at heart. And we it's very obvious, and we all know that the youngsters are the next generation who are able to, or who are going to tune the country. Now, what is the benefits of being part of this association? Now, one and only thing that you will be able to get from this is, what I would say is, you will feel that you are a catalyst who is trying to bring the change in the society for a better future. This is the feeling that you will start to manifest. This is one and only thing that you will be getting from here, and nothing else. Now, we also will be providing you the ultimate weapon to make sure that you're able to do this. Why do I say it? When an ordinary person is looking at something, and good or bad, he hesitates to report it, or he hesitates to take action towards it, or he hesitates to take that first step for a change. Why? Because the society already has an interpretation, or we'll start looking at him as, what is in it for you, right? So why are you doing it? So he is scared of these questions that comes up. But only one person who will be able to bring this out and will be able to take it is a person who has the knowledge of journalism and journalist alone. So he has the complete rights. Journalist is the only person who has the complete authority to question any politician, any official, or anybody who has influence, and ask or demand for an answer. Okay, so it is very important, and we see that they'll be able to go beyond the line, and for with an altruistic reason or a cause, that they go with selflessness. So all the great and respected journalists in the history are never forgotten. Now let's talk more about the benefits of joining All India Press Media Association. What we do here is this. Here we'd like to call all the young generation today. This is a profession today. There are so many professions today in this world. Okay, so you can name so many. You have numerous. But one thing that is utmost important that I feel is journalism. If you're not able to give your complete time towards it, at least you should be able to give a tiny part of your give to that, because that is the feel of responsibility. So there is a main reason for me defining this call is you get strengthened within yourself first. So you get that self-confidence, and with this profession, and this is the only profession where you get that instant gratification of that power and that feel that you'll be able to get as soon as we train you, and we help you to take it, go ahead and bring the change. Now our mission, it might sound a little exaggerated and it might sound funny to some people, but our mission is to make sure that we have one journalist every house. Why do I say that? It is because journalism is a responsibility, and if you need to reap the real benefits of an independent nation, and if you really want to get that benefit to the people, you should be able to question. You should be able to feel that 100% independence only when you'll be able to question and allow people to get the reality of what is happening now. Sometimes we feel that the dynasty rule is still happening in our country, right? So if there is a time to bring a change, it is a journalist that will be able to do that. We are waiting to teach you this trade. Okay, so we have senior respected journalists who are already part of the association and the trade. So we are going to teach you how to write, how to gather information, how to create large articles, how to publish these articles, where to publish it. Everything will be taught into it. We have had examples of thousands of our journalists who have learned from here and part of many reputed media houses today. Now, what is the impact of journalism on Indian independence? Let me just take a little step back, try to explain about this concept. So we know that our beautiful country was once ruled by many people. It started with Mughals, then it started with Britishers, and the politicians are the present leaders now. But mainly talking about the independence that we got in 1947, right? So before that, hundreds of years, there were a lot of freedom fighters. And did you see that one thing very common in all of these freedom fighters? Most of them, at least, majority of them, they were journalists. they were able to bring the change. They were the catalysts who were able to do that rightfully. They were able to gather information, write it, and there were different ways and mediums that they were able to present it. Example, let us take a journal, Swadeshi. There was no technology like what we have now, but they were able to actually bring the change in making people realize how a free India would look like. And that's not an easy task. And these were the journalists that we know before. So should we bring the same mindset within us now, or should we wait for the next 400 years for someone else to realize and start it off? I think that this change has to go on every moment, that we should not forget it, and we should have that realization at all time. If there is a change that has to happen, it has to happen now. Those days, the way that they used to do is through newspapers, through small skits that they used to do in the villages, and they played a very important role. There is it's never ending. We can keep talking about their sacrifices, but one thing that I wanted to stress on the point is how journalism played a very important role in the independence of our country. Okay, how do I see the evolution of modern journalism? Let's come to the present time. Change is one thing that does not change. Change is inevitable. And this evolution and the process, let's go back again a little on how the messaging technology used to work. They used to use pigeons to pass the messages. They used to have men running barefoot, or by foot. It's wrong to say barefoot. Yeah, they were running on foot to make sure that they passed the message on, and they used to sacrifice their life. That messenger used to deliver the message and collapse. It was so important to pass the message on. That was the importance that was there after that. And they were also in India. We used to have this drum rolls in all the villages, walking in all the streets to make sure that they're able to pass that information on. Now the knowledge and technology has evolved, and we need to adapt to it, and that is what the present digital world is all about. Still not be amazed that we still have printing presses, we still have libraries, we still have magazines, and still reading all these magazines in most of the towns in the country is a thing now. Okay, it is our responsibility as an association that we have taken up, where we have a lot of our journalists who have their own magazines that are getting published. There is a freedom to do that, and that comes with the authority that you'll be able to get it. And it is also our responsibility to make sure that we protect this legacy. Now, anything said, you still can't ignore the latest technology and the evolution that has happened in technology. But one thing that is a pain point is, earlier when they had to report a news, they had to gather news, they have to edit it, they have to print it, they have to publish it, and then distribute it. It used to take days for this news to reach, and they had a lot of time to validate it. But in the recent days, it has become more like instant and fast and speed. That is the essence these days. What happens when the speed comes into the picture? There is a problem wherein we will not be able to realize about what is true and what is false, because the speed of reporting right now is going in such a way that you get the news when the event is still happening somewhere. It is not finished yet, and you get the report of it live. So when it is reported and they start reporting it, and by any way or chance that it turns out to be a false news, they might have to continue, or they normally continue it and make sure that they show it as reality. And that is when the actual thing that you keep listening about, TRP and competition, which comes into picture. So it is very difficult to find out what is true and what is false. And most of the times we'll have to adapt to it, and when it is repeatedly shown, and when you see that a lot of people are looking at it and it's repeatedly shown, you might have a chance of accepting the false news as a true news. So that is the major disadvantage that we have with this technology. But anyhow, whatever said, there is no result without a loophole, and you can't avoid it, can we? So we must remove the differences and look at the true outcome of it. That is the only way that we'll be able to look at it. So one thing that is the truth in reality is the profession of journalism. A journalist never reports a wrong news. If he is trained and he knows the purpose of what he's doing, like most of our journalists who are already doing in the field, no matter which association, no matter which media, the guys who are able to have a follow, the guys who are able to do that are the guys who are doing it, in the true sense. Now, the life of journalists will continue. It can be in the form, why it's more important, it can be in the form of ink, or it can be in the form of zeros and ones, that you have in the digital world. But journalism is one kind of a thing that is immortal. It has been for thousands of years, and it will be for thousand more or eternity. Now let me talk about my opinion about fake news. Technology enhancement has taken a lot of benefits in our time, and at the same time, it has many hurtful devastations as well. It is a naked truth that it did not stop infecting journalism as well. The many fake newses, those which are challenging the reality and confuse us through at which makes us forcefully accept it. Because if it is repeatedly shown and millions of it that is coming in, and you keep looking at it, and the worst part is these are the things that get viral as well. Okay, because the people have started accepting it. People like it, because most of these people who are doing the fake newses, they actually don't realize the adverse effect of it. They do it playfully. Okay, it is okay if there is some news that is coming in playfully for bringing in humor or something, but when it is sensitive and it is related to some person or a personality, and it is personal, it does not help. There are a lot of fights that has happened, there are a lot of murders that has happened, there are a lot of riots that has happened because of this. Just turn on your mobile in the morning, or turn on switch on the TV. There are millions of these reports or fake news that keep coming in. What is this? What is the main problem which is affecting this? Is not just the person who is creating it, but actually it is the people who are forwarding it without validating. You need to do a little vetting of this news that comes up. It is the responsibility of it, and also it is the responsibility of the leaders and the law enforcement to make sure that these are punished. From our association, we have taken it as a responsibility to make sure that we are forcing and reporting these things to our authority, or the leaders or the law enforcement teams, to take action on this. They have to be at least given a punishment. It is not tough in this day in India to trace or find the people. Our the cyber cops or the law enforcement have grown bigger as well. All the information about any person, from his mobile to his identification of Aadhaar card or anything, is all linked. So when you're having an ID online, and if somebody is doing that, it's not tough to find them. Not in these days. It was tough before, not now. So it is become our responsibility, and we also are doing our best to make sure that we report such things and support in reducing such false newses of or people who are trying to create these false claims. Let me come to what would I like to share to the present generation. There's one message that I want to bring to the young generations who are existing, are the existing senior journalists who are present. You have made a decision to take it up. The journey of journalism. It is like having a lot of lives in your hand. You need you need to take an oath to report 100% of it, or at least 99% of it, to be true. Now, please be true, please be courageous and self-righteous, and take care of your health, exercise, make sure that your mind and physical body is in sync so that you keep yourself motivated towards that, and learn new things. In this new age, it is not very difficult to be able to learn and adapt to the new technology that's coming in. When you are making a news or a report, you should be able to write it, you should be able to edit it, you should be able to, if you're making a video, do a video, and add music or do all the editing that is required, and the names, flashes, or anything that you can see here, things like that. You should be able to do it yourself without depending on anyone. That is when you'll be able to bring the right change. If you have dependency, there is a lot of time that is wasted, so you should be able to learn it, and we are here as an association to teach that, and how to take it. Not only this, we'll be able to take you through on how you will be able to be motivated and be informed about whatever is happening in the journalism field. One request for the seniors and the existing journalists is to be humble and responsible, like you have always been. And next thing is to try to teach these youngsters and the newcomers who are coming in, okay, through us. We are creating a lot of platforms that you will be able to help them out with it. We need the support, and to make sure that they also follow you and be the way that you are. And thank you for all the support that you're doing all these days, and let's continue that. Now herewith, I wish you a great success and a wonderful journey, and thank you all for listening to me. I will tell you one thing: we are waiting and working at the same time for a better future, to make sure that there is no false illusions or fake news that is created. So be part of this moment. Join hands with us for this revolution. We are waiting. I am waiting. The association is waiting. To have more details, I have given a link below under this video where you'll be able to send in your details and your interest. The basic information is mentioned in that. We will get in touch with you, and once it is validated, we see how we will be able to take it forward. But if you're interested, do click on that, and let's get connected and talk to you soon. Thank you so much.